The Leopolds donated this entire nature preserve. And they care about a lot of things, not just pharmaceuticals.
Fine. I will sit there and smile.
Sorry, we're late.
What happened? You walked from the airport or what?
It's perfect timing.
I need you to act like everything is fine.
Is there something in your car?
A lot of species in this area are rare.
What exactly are we saying this is, though?
I think we know exactly what it is.
A horse-like mammalia.
With some sort of protrusion or growth.
It's a fucking unicorn.
I don't think I should be in swim shorts for this moment.
Death of a Unicorn, one of my most anticipated movies, actually, of this year. Because when I heard about this is all I heard. A24. It is a, I guess, dark comedy, as it was pitched. And it had Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega, two actors I really like, play a father and daughter, and they hit a unicorn. That's all that was pitched. And I was like, okay. It's produced by Ari Aster. Okay, you have me. You're getting me closer. And the music's going to be composed by John Carpenter. Take my money. You got me. You needed to throw that one name, Carpenter, and you have me. That's what you needed to do. And you got me. And after this, I will say this. This is, while I had a fun time watching it, is a pretty fun movie. This is definitely something where not a lot of people will like it. Because it is very weird. It is very, genre-based. So, I don't want to spoil too much from this movie because it, like Companion, it's best you go in not knowing a lot about the movie. So, I will say this. The movie has, as I mentioned, Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. They are father and daughter, and they're off to visit Paul Rudd's boss, who is played by Richard E. Grant, and his family, which has his wife, who is T. Lennox, I think is the last name. I can't remember. And their son, Will Poulter. And they, on their way there, they then hit a unicorn who has special abilities, and havoc ensues. I'll just say that. So, I will say this from the start. It is a bit slow. In the first act, it is a bit slow because they are kind of setting up this whole thing, and then eventually when it gets into the meat of the story, so when the second act hits, it then picks up pretty quickly. So it really starts out with it being, in the first act, it's very much like a, you know what, we're going to start building up this mystery, kind of figuring out what this is. Second act is very science, kind of like. Third act, they just throw their hands up in the air and go, let's just make this a monster siege movie. A gory monster siege movie. And the third act is really when it hit for me. I mean, the second act, I was getting really into it. I was just like, oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, that's kind of clever. And then the third act hits, and it was just like, this is what I wanted to see. This is what I wanted. The best way I can describe this movie is it feels like a combination of, I heard this one. It's like Jurassic Park on steroids. And they're not wrong, but me personally, it feels like Jurassic Park and Death Becomes Her. Both those movies had a drug-fueled stepchild who loves watching gory films. And if that does not sound interesting to you, you will not like this movie. And so that's the best way I can describe it. Now, the positives. the performances I thought were really good. The standout ones to me was Jenna Ortega and Will Poulter. Ortega, her character, I actually liked the most, which, I don't mean to sound like an ass, but in the past stuff she's been in, while I thought she's really good in them, I'm really not like fully invested in her character. I'm like, yeah, you're really good in this, but your character just kind of sucks, where I'm like, that decision you made, I don't think that was a good one. Look what happened, kind of thing. But this one, she's the one that's saying like, we need to like not do any of this. Don't want to say what they do, but like all this stuff, we need to not do this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. And then Will Poulter, he was really good because everything I've seen him in, he's played like a douchebag. Like I go back and watch like Midsommar, he's a douche in that movie. But then again, mostly everybody in that movie is. But he's really like on the rise, and that's really great. I'm really glad for him. Paul Rudd's character, you get a little bit frustrated with him because the whole time I'm like, man, you're a sellout, dude. You're just selling out. So you get a little frustrated with him at times where I'm like, I would be like, if I was in this situation, I would totally stand up for my daughter. I would not be in this. I wouldn't be a sellout as much as you are right now, dude. Like, wow. Like, okay. And the chemistry between Paul Rudd and Ortega, while they are playing, a father and daughter, but their chemistry together, well, I think is really good. Their characters, they really don't have anything in common, and they have like certain things that happened, like the mother died, and they just kind of lost a connection. So now they're kind of trying to use this as a like rekindle their relationship. And then, a unicorn shows up and it's like, oh, well, now we got to deal with this. After the first act, the movie does become a lot more faster paced, a lot gorier, and I think a lot more fun. And this was the big giant blow for me. While I really liked the score, because there were parts in there where I'm listening to it and I'm thinking, Carpenter, that doesn't sound much like him. But like, okay, maybe he's trying something else. And then every once in a while they play like a synthesized like moment, and I'm like, oh, I hear it now. And then when it came to the credits, I was just like, all right, I want to see him. He didn't do the score. And then I looked it up and it said he did. I mean, I saw interviews where Carpenter said that he did do the score, but apparently weeks before the film came out, they said, oh, no, we're not going to use your score, and we're going to use someone totally different. And that really pissed me off. Like, I was really upset after that. And I was like, why would you throw away one of the masters of horror score? Why would you do that? That was an idiot move. So I really wish like they do something almost like what they did with Ridley Scott's Legend, where there's two different cuts of that, but both cuts they have different scores. Like with the theatrical version, it's Jerry Goldsmith that did the score, but with the director's cut, it's Tangerine Dream, and it's really different. And so it's like, whoa, like this sounds really cool. And I really want to hear Carpenter's score. I mean, just not me being a Carpenter fanatic. I want to hear his score, but I'm like, I really want to see why would they get rid of this one? And I want to see somebody make a version where they take out the score they used in the film and put in Carpenter's score and see how that works. And also the ending may be a little iffy for some people. Like, I know when I saw it, I was like, yeah, okay, that's all right, but I really can't see at the moment any other way you could have ended this, but that's still kind of like, all right. So, despite all that, this is still a pretty fun movie. It takes a bit to get into the swing of things, but once it gets trucking, it's like roller coaster. And it's best not to know a whole lot. And this, while it's kind of pitched as a dark comedy, it's more of a horror movie with splashes of comedy and just full-on being bonkers. And that just sounds like a recipe for me, like, in general, which is why I was very much like, I want to see this. And a pretty fun movie with some minor flaws. Honestly, I give this one a great. It was actually at like a high average for a bit, and then the third act happened, and it was like, this is what I wanted to see. This is what I wanted, so it bumped it up. And I had a lot of fun with it, and, if what I described doesn't sound interesting to you, don't watch this. And again, this is one of those movies where it's like, as much as I am like saying I liked it, somebody can see it and say like, yeah, I didn't like it at all. And so it's definitely one where it's like, see it, make up your own mind. And, I don't fault anybody for having a different opinion, freedom of speech.
I would do whatever I have to take care of you.
So you would retreat in the face of opportunity.
That horn was rather girthsome.
Picking up vibrations.
Here's hoping we kill Bigfoot on the way home, huh?